Even set on their way. End of the dance on the outside, broke a little sideways, but broke KK. But meanwhile, it's going to be stopped. But running on now, and Somali Lemonade's got 8 to make up. They come to the top of the lane. Stop. Shopping Maria's got a lot left. Stop. Shopping Maria goes on. Sweet Cat is right there. Hard not to right. Royal Body is running on. Past the 8 ball, they come. Stop. Shopping Maria for the run. Still under a hand ride as they come to the 16. Stephanie's Kitten coming out late. Here's Stephanie's Kitten coming fast. Stephanie's Kitten. Stop. Shopping Maria. Stephanie's Kitten's watered. Watched the chances, broke smartly, but so did Tara from the Cape. On the inside, Sky Lantern the Grey going well. If he can get through, Sky Lantern the Grey looking for somewhere to run. Wide open. It's Tara from the Cape hanging on. Tara from the Cape tries to go all the way. On the outside now, here comes Flotilla in the light blue. Flotilla is absolutely flying. Watch the chances in there too. But Flotilla has gone right on by. And Flotilla is coming home to score. Flotilla has won it just about 2 in the end. It'll be Watch the Chances, Summer of Fun, coming on to finish her.
Live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Handicappers Report, Week 8. The swan song, closing week here at Saratoga. It's impossible, but it's a statement of fact. It's also 9/1, September 1st. I'm bringing my buddy and colleague, Mike Callahan, and we've made it. Well, we haven't made it yet, but we are here at the finish line, Mike. What do we got? 6 days left, 34 down, 6 to go. You and I were talking off the air on a cool morning here in Saratoga Springs that, you know, they run the Travers, you leave, it's cool, it's getting dark out, and you just kind of say, wow, it's over, Johnny, that's it. But here we are, closing week, huh?
Yeah, like you said, still exciting racing we'll talk about here in a second from last weekend, obviously the highlight being the Travers. But like you said, sort of like a switch that happens yearly. And I don't know how it does it, but you go from, last week we did the no coat brigade party.
We had to do it, we had to do it
again
twice.
For I think we did half the shows without the coat because it was so hot. And then we broke the streak of humidity, and now it's pretty brisk. I don't like to use the C word cold because I'm too big of a guy to say the word cold. But no, there's some brisk in the air. We'll see how the weather plays out. That's going to be the big unknown. Obviously, people have been tracking the weather in general. My sister actually lives down in New Orleans, so I checked on her. She's okay. They got the hurricane. It was there,
I don't know if you saw that picture of the fairgrounds tote board. I mean, obviously, there's many bigger issues in the fairgrounds tote board, but just to bring it in our sphere a little bit, the tote board at fairgrounds just completely got bottomed out.
Yeah, they were assessing Delta Downs down there, fairgrounds, Evangeline, all sort of in that same area. But yeah, she was talking about the main transmission tower in New Orleans fell into the Mississippi River. And it's crazy. It's just, it's unbelievable. And we're going to now, as the remnants of that hurricane kind of shifts up, that's going to impact us. How much, we're not sure. There seems to be like a sharp cutoff in the more north you go. Seems to help the situation. So hopefully Saratoga doesn't get hit too hard. Definitely going to get hit south of the capital region, but we'll see how it all plays out. But it's going to be impacting later tonight into tomorrow, and that's going to be the big unknown. And you can mention, the MTO is still being.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Mets fan, and I don't know why the hell you're a Mets fan besides me, but they canceled last night today. U.S. Open is going to have a problem today, too. So point being, there's a crazy amount of rain down south affecting Belmont Park, I'm sure, in the training down there, that, as Mike alluded to, is kind of coming up here. Right now, I just looked on the old trusty iPhone. It's probably already changed already, but there's about 50% chance of rain at 3 o'clock, up to about 80% at 6 o'clock. So with that being said, I saw our buddy and guy Mark Hennig tweeted out this morning, they're keeping the MTOs in. And it's a big deal today because we got that big pick 6 carryover.
$161,000.
$161. Thank you. I wasn't positive on that. That's going to go race 5. So, you're going to have to tread lightly there. You're going to, as always up here, keep an eye on the weather, keep an eye on the scratches. Geez, I would like to think Naira will make a decision, no pun intended, heck or high water, we're running on the turf or we're not, prior to that sequence, because we all know if you start a sequence and it has to come off, you're going to get the all ball, and that doesn't really help anybody. It does protect the bettors, don't get me wrong, but it's not fun to go into a sequence thinking about that. So just pay attention to the weather, the website, the scratches, and all that kind of stuff. We'll do our best to keep you up to date too, and how that plays out later, because you and I had a show. I don't know, maybe it's two. The days run into each other now. But anyway, we did a show up here on a Wednesday where, it's the perfect storm with the pick 6, because now you've got 2 days off. You've got these PPs on Sunday night. Del Mar doesn't run today. It's a great day to have a pick 6 carryover on a Wednesday.
Absolutely. And we possibly are going to have a segment on Racing Across America, kind of talking about ways you can play it. A couple weeks ago, I think we talked about it. You double singled. Now, you weren't able to catch the first couple, but there's different strategies to the pick 6 that you can kind of talk about, where you can sort of spread out. If obviously you have the bankroll, you can single in, dial in on one horse, and sort of spread out in others. You can use the ABC method, obviously, where you're just kind of focusing in on those horses or kind of collectively using them together. So it's fun, it's unique, and obviously we've seen some huge payouts and a lot of carryovers, and it's been really, really nice. We saw the real fun story was opening weekend, sort of a novice handicapper at Saratoga, played a $162 ticket. He cashes for over 80 grand. So it's at the dollar minimum, it's even more impressive, because it's like having, with a 50-cent base pick 4, playing it for like $18. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of correlates to that, and it's unique and fun, and we'll definitely dive into that, especially when we're going. Yeah.
So right now the lineup is Sean Clancy with the Saratoga Special at 10, Dave Grenning with the Racing Form at 10:20, Tom Amos, Mr. New Orleans LSU alumni and one of the great guys in racing, at 10:40, but. Tom we're going to check on Tom, because he said he might have something going on. So if not, as Mike kind of hinted at, Mike's going to swing back around, double back for a friend, and we're going to cap that pick 6 if Tom can't get on. So we'll have that in plenty of time. But I was not here for Travers weekend. I think, not positive on that, I think it's the first Travers I've missed since 1994, when I wasn't even, certainly wasn't in racing, and I wasn't following racing either. So I think it's the first one I've ever missed. Thunder Gulch in 95 with the white bridle and the Tabor colors was my first Travers, and I'm pretty sure I was here the whole way since. I will say this, though. I was here in the day. I was not here when they opened the gates for the Travers in 2002 when Medaglia d'Oro won, because it was like 48 degrees. A lot of my friends talk about this. If you're out there, Tommy O, if you're watching, I know people like that remember that Travers. It was freezing. I actually left. What'd you think of the past weekend? Some craziness.
I mean, obviously the big story is the Frenzy Fire Yaupan matchup with the Savaging. I've never seen it last that long. I mean, obviously we've seen some nips and stuff like that.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen anything like that, where you're going at top speed and you're literally just zoned in on a horse, and you could see Jose Ortiz just sort of like a street brawl, just trying to pull back his friend.
I mean, several strides too.
It was amazing. You kind of almost, because they're going so fast, and they're in a ding dong battle, and there's money on the line, so it's like you're just kind of like a whirlwind of emotions. And I was down at the Clubhouse Racebook, and we all kind of looked at each other like, did that really just happen? And then there was the heartbreak for the actual Frenzy Fire bettors who thought they were going to win the race.
I mean, he probably
was.
Yeah,
I mean, if you take a look at that race and kind of look at it again, he was going to win the race.
I think he was better at that point.
Yeah, and even at the end when, Jose was able to sort of take him back, and then he sort of chirped at him again to kind of, we're there, like we're right there. Just it was unbelievable.
And so I was down in the office at Gulfstream, and long time turf writer Ed Gray had said apparently Mike Welch had texted him or tweeted him that it actually happened to Firenze Fire a couple years ago.
I read that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not remember that.
He remembered it. He just wanted to take it out on someone else, yeah.
And quite honestly, and I said to our producer, Bri, off the air, because I said, okay, here we go. Great stuff, Bri. I mean, what I asked them to get for Racing Across America, there's that famous picture, the head-on of the two horses, one horse savaging the other horse.
Yes.
I've watched a billion races. I don't really remember ever seeing. Here you go. Great job, guys. Thank
awesome.
you. That's the one, okay? That's the one I just always remember. I don't remember ever seeing that happen in a race. Certainly not for that elongated period of time.
And I also wonder, because Yaupan was wearing a tongue tie.
Yeah.
I wonder if he saw that sort of flapping when they were running, and he just either A, got annoyed, or B, there's no way to explain it, right?
No,
you can't know what really went on. But you can see there's the tongue tie, and he was reaching initially at it, and obviously, Ricardo started to sort of switch over, and he both jockeys did a tremendous job. That could have been a horrible.
As you said, they're going about 35 miles an hour.
At that point, it's just, it's like driving a car, and you're just in a weird situation. And they both did a phenomenal job. Maybe he did see, the tongue and the tongue tie just sort of flapping, and he just, it's just one of those weird scenarios. But everybody reacted to it, especially on social media. And if you've never seen it before, at least now you can kind of check mark that one off that you've seen it.
There was like a little bump in mid-stretch that I just said to myself, I wonder if he was like, screw you, buddy. Don't do that. I don't know.
It's easy to get frustrated, and that shows you that they are competitors.
Oh, man.
Because they knew what was going on. They knew that they're taught to beat each other. And at that point, it was no holds barred. It turned into a sort of like a WWE.
It really did.
WWE situation. So, but, obviously there was other racing phenomenon. Lutresca. I thought there was 5 horses
that were all going to run by her.
Were going to run by her. And she's
awesome.
Bonnie South was coming. Dunbar Road actually put in an encouraging effort, was sweeping on the outside. There was just a bunch of good performances, but she's just able each and every time to go as fast as she possibly can, sort of like Nick Scow, and just be there.
And she has danced every dance, too. We're in this day and age where horses just don't run.
She runs all
the time. Third straight Breeders' Cup win and you're in win. The Phipps, the Fleur de Lis, and now the Personal Ensign. And she's just awesome. And credit to Fausto Gutierrez for just keeping on. Really, really cool mare. That's a win machine. It's great to see. Sense of quality. I mean, he does what he does. He doesn't wow you. He doesn't impress you. And at the end of the day, he's now 8 for 9, and he's going to be a dual Eclipse Award winner.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been impressed with him. I know there are some people who always say he's kind of like that football team that keeps winning 17-10.
Yeah, it's a good way to describe
and you're going up against him, seeing, okay, well, he's 8-0 or 7-1, and you're like, we can beat this team because they keep winning by a touchdown.
Right.
Well, he keeps winning by a half a length or a length, and he did not. No one who was closing had any chance in that race at all, because there was the lone speed was Midnight Bourbon. He was able to set some really slow fractions, and he did give him a fight. But Assumption was just able to, to sort of grind and do what he does every single time. I like that, though. I like horses that are honest. It's not flashy. They don't win any points as far as
something to be said.
But exactly, there's something to be said for the grinders too, and he's one of them, and he's phenomenal. He's a great horse.
Midnight Bourbon, if you didn't get it done on Saturday, I got bad news for you, buddy. You ain't getting it done. Yeah. That was your spot right there.
Yeah,
he ran huge. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
They ran huge. They ran fast. I think I saw 107. Gamine did her thing. She was fine. I don't think she was ultra impressive, but she wasn't really threatened. Gofu answered the bell, stepping up now. Japan, with a heck of a lot of trouble.
I mean,
that won't go on the Ryan Moore instructional video.
No, exactly. Hindsight 2020. You go back, watch the race. Japan finds a spot. He's probably the winner. But
if you needed Japan, I picked them. Okay, I picked them.
I know some people who did.
So. You got the one bad Ryan Moore ride in like the last 7 years. Like that's.
I was watching with some people down at that clubhouse. I'm like, if Japan gets out, he's the winner. But he couldn't get out. And Gufo's a big boy. So once he gets going, he takes up a lot of space. The hole kind of closed. He's got to circle around, and Japan's still coming at the end of the day. But
and to be fair, I'm still not sure he gets by him. Gufo had something left. He was actually inching away a little bit late. But
right.
That's neither to be determined. What else went? How about Jackie's Warrior and Life is Good? Just awesome.
Yeah, I mean the entire time thought Life is Good had it. He's sort of sitting on the outside waiting, sort of baiting Jackie's Warrior to sort of make that run on the rail. But Jackie's Warrior is just absolute, just beast. I mean, they both were unbelievable. They were clear by what? 10 lengths?
Yeah, and for Life is Good to do what he did, Mike Smith never met a hot pace he doesn't want to get involved in. And for Life is Good to do what he did, off the layoff, off a little minor injury, barn change to Todd Pletcher. You don't want to take anything away from Jackie's Warrior, but I left that race with like, wow, this horse is a freak. Life is Good.
Absolutely.
So, and see what they do.
And
with
maybe you could say, because Life is Good at that point around the far turn had the advantage.
Yeah.
I wonder if you just go a little bit more, because it seemed like Mike was waiting to kind of throw down.
Try to go to
Jackie's Warrior, exactly. And he thought maybe he would have a little bit more of a burst than he actually did. But also, I also think I wouldn't say underestimate Jackie's Warrior, because at that point you knew what you had.
Yeah.
But that horse was not going to let Life is Good by. There's no shot in the world. They could have won another furlong, could have won another 2 furlongs. He was not going to let him by.
And
but that's an encouraging effort for Life is Good as well.
For sure. Todd mentioned maybe the Pennsylvania Derby stretching back out. That's September 25th.
Yeah, he's got that high cruising speed where he can kind of do what Nick Sko does, what Lutreska does, just sort of go out there, do your thing, and see if you can just beat everybody into submission. So
and the job Steve Asmussen has done with Jackie's Warrior, as we know in this day and age, it's tough to get horses to replicate these, career efforts. And Jackie's Warrior, since the Pat Day Mile on Derby Day, he's done it every time.
Right.
In the Vanderbilt, in the Woody Stevens at Belmont, where he lost but ran his eyeballs out, and now on Saturday, and you worry is there going to be regression, he's going to come back to the pack, and he just goes out and throws it down every time. Steve trains Japan, he trains Bo Liam, who looked like an absolute freak on Sunday.
Did he come back with a...
He came back, I think he ran a 106.
That's what I was going to say, it was 106 or 107.
He ran a 107 there was the time before.
Right, there was a bunch that had 107 buyers, which is just
so
crazy.
Yeah, I think I read something like there's been 11 performances of a 107 or better this year, and 5 of them were this weekend at Saratoga.
Yeah, which is just and while it was chalky as far as better goes,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
And it was. There were some performances that I think are going to be underrated with horses that finish behind, and maybe you can use. Next start or down the road, there are going to be some value. So definitely go back, watch some trips, see how you overall think of the race, and then sort of, mark some horses down and target them for some other races because, while Saturday was not going to make anybody a ton of money, it may be beneficial down the road. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, too, and I'm glad you brought it up because, we as bettors, we want the big score, and people get a little peeved when it's a chalk fest and a $2 million pick 5 pays pick 6 paid $113.
I saw that.
So listen, I get it. I hit the pick 5 5.5 times. I hit the pick 4 8 times. I hit the pick 6. I lost money on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, I get it.
That
but
happens.
When superstars show up, you're not going to get 12-horse fields. It's just the nature of the beast. Who the heck wants to run against Latruska? Who wants to run against Jackie's Warrior and Life is Good? So, yes, as the bettor, it's you leave with a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth and you're a little peeved and you want these boxcar payoffs. You want 9-2 favorites in 12-horse fields. I get it, but there is something to be said for. You saw You know, you saw Hall of Famers on Saturday if they continue this trajectory.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, you saw a
They've gotten
handful
better.
of them.
Some of these horses have gotten better than what they already were, and they were already great to begin with. So
sometimes you just have to, you know, say, okay, I get it, that was unfortunate, but like, let's golf clap for what we saw on Saturday. There were some awesome performances by some awesome horses, and I think that needs to be celebrated.
And to your point, you know, as far as talking towards the better side of things, that's where I think you just, and you've mentioned it multiple times when you're on with Anthony, sort of, you have to adapt as a bettor, right? Like, I know what my tendencies are. You probably have your own tendencies, but we have to change our tendencies when we see situations like that.
100%.
You know, where normally I'm playing a 50-cent base pick 4, and I'm trying to spread out everywhere. Can't really do that in a day like that.
100%.
You have to play $10 pick 4s, $20 pick 4s, and you just got to hope that the horses that you just deemed that much better than everybody else, and then you're getting rewarded because you're getting, you know, $50 payouts, but you have it 40 times.
And listen, that line forms behind me on Saturday because it was the old don't look for something that's not there. My tickets were way more expansive than they should have been, than they really ought to have been, and you know, that comes back on the back end, and you know, you hit multiple times and you don't get out. So it's a great handicapping / betting point. Don't look for something that's not there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get going here. 105. We got the last steeplechase race of the meet here. Sean Clancy's going to be on with a special at 10 bells with me to dope this out and talk a little bit more. 2 3/8 miles. It's a 1X here.
Yeah.
105.
These steeplechase races have been treating me well.
This is
especially
an
with my
impossible
banker.
race.
This is a tough one.
Good luck.
This is really tough. I did 7, 6, 3, and 8. I went back and watched the 6 though. The more I thought about it, the 6 getting some weight. He ran pretty well in his debut down at Colonial, and he had a lot more left in the tank. You're going to see that he was beaten, or he won that race by a half length. He easily could have won that race by 5 or 6. So he's the one that I'll probably end up targeting in on because I think he's going to be the better price than the 7. Although I do have the 7 on top. Those are the 2 horses I'm going to use, and I'm glad to see you have the same 2 as me. Prayer of Hope is interesting. One last time with some versatility, actually came from farther back. That was a race in the flats, but the hurdle race before that was pretty darn good, where this horse was able to take them wire to wire in this spot. Now, there is some speed in here. I'll be interested because the 1's going to go again. The 8's going to have some speed. You're also going to see some speed from the 4, so I'll be interested to see how this race develops. But for me, as far as the bankroll plays, got on the bankroll this afternoon. I'll probably just target it on the 7 and the 6. But as far as my 1, 2, 3, 4 picks, I have it 7, 6, 3, and 8.
Now, don't forget, this is not the early pick 5. Okay, that gets in race 2. You're going to jump in with the bankroll and over the hurdles.
Absolutely,
love it.
I did it with Silver Crescent.
Sicko.
I did it with Silver Crescent about a month ago. He won it 6-1. So I had 20 to win on him, and then last time out was the unbelievable horse. Who's the really good horse? The horse that
the mean queen.
Yeah, the mean queen, exactly. So I was able to have that exact and start off.
I like it.
Race. So hey, if you're a betting lover, you don't care what type of race it is, and that, for me, that's what I'll do. So.
Well, they're degenerate is the term.
That's my point.
Betting lover, degenerate.
I try to be nice. You're a betting lover.
You're a janitor or a custodial engineer. Is that what it is?
But this is a good, like you said, if it's as wide open as you say it is, and it's hard to target a couple horses, this is going to be a good betting race. That's exactly what it is. So
I like that. I'm not a degenerate. I don't have a problem. I'm a betting lover. Okay?
Yeah.
Same 2. We're up against it a little bit. Same 2 for me. Again, though, Sean Clancy at 10 a.m. He's going to talk about this race in a little bit more.
All right, we'll take a look at race number 2 in here. It's a 12-5 claimer. Going to go on mile and 8th, and this will kick off that early pick 5.
As Mike said, 1:38 in the p.m.
Heavy favorite.
2-3 to the hoop here. I don't even know who I picked in third. The one sheet's just got 2-3. Looks like the 1A's running in third here. Nothing clever here. Mike sees it the same. Drop for Pletcher, who's having himself a good meet. Again, inside speed with Louise Size. This horse just bottoms out this field.
Yeah, absolutely. This may be the single for a lot of people here in the early pick 5. The 3 in the second spot, interesting. Probably be some value in here if you're looking for exacta plays. Brian and I see it the same. And then if you're looking for a big long shot, I thought Hammer and Amar may be interesting. 15-1 on the morning line. Blinkers coming off. Last 2 haven't been good. But if you dig a little bit deeper, and again, this is a race besides the 2 that really everybody sort of lost their form, regains it, loses it again. The 7, if you regain some of that form, is going to be a big price, especially if you're a vertical lover in here. Round out those tries, 2, 3, 7, and 1.
Early pick 4 now in race 3. Don't forget that either. 2:15 in the p.m. I think we'll be fine for the turf, but again, we're keeping MTOs today with some potential rain later later on in the card. This is one of those RNA restricted races, $45,000 or less in their most recent sale, 5.5 on the melon.
You had it 2, 1, 6, and 8. It's a pretty wide open race.
Yeah, it is. I don't have any of those.
Yeah, the 2 is, next Tuesday. We've talked about this horse in these RNA races because he's been racing up here a couple different times. We've talked about it a couple times where he finished second to Mainstay, finished second to Schuylerville. Then in the second career start, sort of missed the break, didn't do much running, but against some decent horses, take the back roads. Let's be clear, they're both winners, breaking their maiden. And then last time out, ran a good second to take the back roads, getting onto the turf for the first time. He's going to need to show some speed, but Luis Size is going to stay and was aboard last time out. We know how dangerous he is, so I'll use him on top. The 1's a first-time start of Brian Lynch. Javier Castellano is going to be aboard. The sires, Spikester, was 14% with 2-year-old debut sire. He's 0 for 47 with first-time, yikes, turf horses. But you take a look at the dam, conversely, she won her debut going 1 for 1 on the turf. So I thought it was an interesting dynamic, sort of figure it out. Watch the board with this one, but the workouts have been sharp. So I thought the 1 is a horse you want to use. And then the 6, Sweet Surprise, third on debut, sort of missed the break, was pinched back. I think one that can improve as well with Joel Rosario aboard. I had 2, 1, 6, 8.
10, 7, 6, 4. I'll toss the 2 in there. The 1 sheet, check it out online too, especially going to get
we're spread out everywhere.
Yeah, this is crazy. What do we got? Vexed and Relaxed, I guess, for Maker and Jose Ortiz. That's a positive to me. Drawn a little wide, but Jose will put this one in the race early. It's a spread for me. Check the tote board if you're getting involved. Check the double will pays if you're getting involved. The double probables, excuse me. If you're getting involved in the early pick 5, maybe it steers you in the right direction. Raw Honey's got the experience for Fernando Abreu. 22 to 1 on debut was a pretty good 6. And that was the quote-unquote open maidens, okay? We're dropping in today. Don't forget that. Number 6, Sweet Surprise for Tim Hills. Took a little betting action. Broke last from the rail. I would think you get better today. The 4, Diamond Status for Carlos and Irad. That's a positive. As you mentioned the 2, you mentioned the 1. How about the 9, who I don't have anywhere in my mix? Rusty Arnold Firster, Buy Into Mischief. They paid $27,000 for this one. Oh boy!
Well, if you're going to throw in the 9, I'm going to throw in the 8 because the 8 was my 4th choice. So we really have exactly this horse. They on the bottom side, the dam has produced 5 winners from 7 foals. And this horse showed some speed on debut. And second time out, she's 11 for 27. So we'll see if this complete spread race. Absolutely. But if you can single in the first race with the 2, then you're off and running. Maybe get a price here, and then you're into the third leg, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah, let's do one more.
All right, let's take a look at race number 4. It's a 2 other than optional claimer, going to a mile and 16th on the inner turf.
Yeah, and again, I think we're fine on the turf for this one, to be determined later. 6, 8, 4. I'll try to beat the heavy favorite. In a Hurry for Shug. Added blinkers last time. I thought it was an improved effort, showed more speed. No surprise there with the hood going on. Joel Rosario's here. We're going to get first run on the favorite. If you just look at that race last time when the blinkers went on, I thought she was a little tighter version that day, a little more tactical speed, and I think that can play here today. Number 8, Clara Peters. 7 to 5 on the morning line for Brad Cox and the pink and yellow mic'd up. Hasn't been seen since August 26th of last year. So that's what, 371 days.
She was working out like a champ, though.
Yeah, and the fact that they brought this gal back as a 5-year-old mare, it says to me that they probably think she can maybe be stakes place. That hasn't happened yet. A legitimate stakes, quote unquote. I would think she's pretty good, and that's fine. Doesn't have a lot of early speed. I'm not sold this is her trip either. Now look at these races. She was doing much of her better work around a little bit of an elongated turn there at Belmont. So I'm not positive a true 2-turn race is her best trip off the layoff at a short number. I'll try to beat her. Sun Summers for Maker and Jose, certainly in the mix here too. Was a solid enough third last time. You look at the stakes second, 2 back, and that's a big effort. That would really put her in the mix here. 6, 8, 4 for me.
Yeah, same thought, different horse. Task for me. This is a replay special. Go back and watch the last 2. This horse was coming off a 9-month layoff, raced against Caravel, who we knew was a really nice sprinter on the turf. Was able to pick up the pieces, but again, that was coming off of a layoff. Last time out, a similar spot. This horse, top of the stretch, goes to dive down for the rail. The eventual winner takes that spot, sort of has to check back. then comes again and has absolutely no room at all. Was probably the winner that day, but you're going to see on paper this horse finished 6th. So again, go back, make your own assessment. Now stretching out, so this horse is now tighter, stretching out. We've seen this horse win going a mile and 16th. You already mentioned there's no speed in here. She's going to be stretching out from 5.5. She's already shown that she can wire fields back in 2019. She is going to have to improve. There's no doubt comparative to the best in here. But at the price you're going to get at 10 to 1 in the morning line, I think Tass is a horse you want to use. So I do have the 2 on top. The 8, for all the reasons you already mentioned, has been facing really good horses. The 4th only beating a couple to Villadera. We just saw Villadera win the Boston Spa. And then also the 4 in the 3rd spot. Just been knocking on the door each and every time. Buyers-wise fits in here. 2, 8, 4, 7.
All right. First break on the Wednesday edition. Closing week here on the Handicappers Report. When we come back, we start that big pick 6 carryover in race 5. Stay tuned.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition. It's closing week here at the Spa. 6 left, 34 down, 6 to go. Excuse me, as we draw in on race 5. Big pick 6 carryover. As Mike said, $161 in the kitty today. And hopefully the weather cooperates. It's a fun sequence. They're going to bet it hard. I would think $1 million is in play with, a lot of good things to make that happen. Days off, early PPs, no Delmar, yada, yada, yada. It's going to be a big number, and it kicks off with a 2L here. Good luck here. Tread lightly. I said to Mike, my play of the day isn't here.
I know. That's
scary.
I had this as a spread.
3-year-olds and up going 1 mile and 1/8. There's going to be some staggerers in the lane here, Mike.
2, 5, 3, 7. I'll let you talk about the 2 is going to be your play of the day. It's definitely going to show some speed. I had this as a spread because there's some races later on. The feature, the with anticipation, looks to be an either or. So if you're sort of mapping out, you have Vindictive, who was really, really good last time out. It's going to be a short price later on, which we'll talk about. For me, it was a spread here. I'll use the 2, the 5, the 3 for our good friend Roddy Valeni. Has shown some speed before, was able to win 2 starts back last time out just throughout the race, now dropping in this spot. And then the 7 was victorious in the 12th career start last time out, now facing winners. For me, it's a little bit of a confusing race, but you have a strong opinion here, and if you can bypass the sort of spread theory here, you may be able to get out of this race with some coverage elsewhere.
So here's where ticket construction comes into play today.
Huge.
Because Speed Effect is my best bet of the day, and I think he's aptly named in here because to me he looks loose on the stretch out, on the drop, second off a long layoff of almost 1.5 years. IRAD gets aboard, and it's a dead send mission from the rail. We've seen horses, they just don't make up ground going 2 turns. It just doesn't happen. And I think Speed Effect is loose. What do you get from him? I don't know, but a couple things. The fact that he came back off the long layoff against Better and kept his speed, I think that's very important. When horses come back off extended breaks, especially cheaper horses, and they keep their speed that they once have, I think it's a great sign. I'm kind of just hoping he bottoms out this field, Mike. But back to ticket construction, okay? This is where you've got to have a little bit of an imagination. This is a single for me. People don't want to do it in race 1. I don't want to be out. Oh, my God, I don't want to be out after one race. So Here's the single, and the 2 is the single. But then now you've got to construct your backup tickets. As Mike said, it could be a deep spread for some people. So the backup tickets, the Bs, are going to have multiple horses, and then you've really got to narrow down your A's later on. And that's where it comes back to ticket construction, a little handicapping, massaging, so to speak, where you've got to put these tickets together that get the best of both worlds. If I'm right on my play of the day, I want all heck to be able to break loose later.
Absolutely.
Because I can have the coverage. If I'm wrong, well, I better have a heck of a handicapping day and races the next 5 legs, because now I'm a lot more condensed than what I initially would have been. So that's the single. Number 7, Johnny Pump, as Mike mentioned, breaks the maiden last time. Bad post here and facing winners. Yes, these winners aren't much. Tricky post here. 2-7-5 for me.
Take a look at race number 6. This is a $25,000 maiden claimer for straight state breds. Going to go 6 furlongs on the dirt. And
here we go. Now it starts to open up, right? Late pick 5 time here. This is a good sequence as well.
This is probably another classified spread race.
9-6-4-2 for me. Freudian Fate, the drop here really hasn't been in this light. Tactical speed, I like that. Didn't run bad at all against a month better last time. Here's the drop, the old all systems go angle. 0 for 10, I understand it, but has never been in this light. Should offer a hint of value as well. Big Little Risk is, no knocks here for Jimmy Bond and Luis Saez, who've had a big summer together. I'll let Mike talk about this one. He's got him on top. And then number 4, Flipping Fun. I thought ran okay last time to be second. Yes, it was a pretty slow race. Yes, he's 0 for 19 with 5 underneath finishes. But, Wonder finds its own level. We saw it the other day, an 0 for 18-1. I don't necessarily like this horse on top, but I think he can get a little bit of a piece second time in the barn. 9-6-4-2 on the 1 sheet for me. It's a tough race.
Yeah, this is a race I think where positioning is going to be a big factor. So the 6 for me, you have in the second spot, my top choice. 5 career starts, 3 of them were on the turf. I think there's no doubt that this horse has put in the best efforts on the dirt. Last time out, showed some speed, got into a little bit of a duel, was really wide that day, ended up finishing 3rd. Now you're going to see Luis Saez stay for Jimmy Bond in here. I think it's going to be forwardly placed. And again, as I mentioned, I think tactically is going to sit the right trip in here, and we'll see what type of price we get at 3-1. The 10's interesting to me at a price. You're crossing Verrazano on debut. Didn't break well, was passing some horses that day, going 6.5. It was over the slop. So again, getting onto a fast track for the first time. Jose Ortiz is going to get aboard for the first time. And the second career start for this horse, I thought there was some upside, and maybe you could throw out that race in the slop. And then the 9, Freudian Fate, your top choice in here. Like you said, buyers-wise fits well in here. This is a race that looks to be inconsistent, and there's numerous horses that I've had a bunch of chances, but Freudian Fate, of those horses that I've had a lot of races, would probably be the horse that people navigate towards. So 6, 10, 9, and 2 for me in the 6th.
All right, one more before the break. Late pick 4 time in the 7th, and this is another scramble to me. It is a 1X state breds here, fillies and mares. We hope we go 5.5 on the melon, and that's important because again, the weather could be at play later. They're keeping the MTOs in right now, and we'll see.
Yeah, up to this point, to me, it's a spread. Including this race, I'll kind of narrow it down with Vindictive and some other horses later in the featured. But 9, 6, 2, and 1 for me. Social Whirl looking for 3 in a row. 2 for 2 over the course up here at Saratoga. Draws the outside post, likes to stock, so draws the perfect spot in here. Going to 5.5 with a Red Ortiz Jr. aboard. The 6, Tis a Pity. Dropped and popped last time out, was coming off a real long layoff, hadn't been seen in a year and a half. Now facing winners for the first time. Should be sitting that just behind the first flight of horses in here with Joel Rosario aboard. And then the 2, who I flirted with putting as my top choice. You're looking for a price in here at 10-1. Tyler Gaffleon's going to be aboard last time out. Another one coming off a long layoff, was able to pass some rivals in the stretch, finishing 4th. I think needed that race. Buyers-wise, fits really well in here. Watch the board on the 2 as a little bit of a price plan here. 9, 6, 2, and 1 for me.
All right, don't hit the bar after the show here because you're coming back at 10:40. Tom Amos is a late scratch. Okay. He's texting me. Tom is in New Orleans. Hi, Kim. Kim Weir popping up on the set. Tom Amos is a late scratch. Tom's an LSU grad and a New Orleans guy, and so he's got to take care of some business back home. We wish Tom and everybody back in New Orleans, all our friends there, the best. I know your sister is there.
Yeah, she's
Tough situation.
Yeah, just tough situation.
Yeah.
And, but she did say, and she's from up here and living down there, that the community that they see on TV is as tight-knit as she possibly says, because she's in a neighborhood where everybody's sort of outside trying to help out each other's houses and whatnot. It's a phenomenal community. Obviously, they're going through a rough situation right now. And,
I spent 5 months there this winter.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
was
You were down
the first thing I know. I was like right off the bat how much everybody just likes each other there.
Yeah.
They're tight. They're close. So we wish them the best. 2195 for me, just quickly before the break here. Athena Dancer's first time Lasix, second off the long layoff for Wayne Potts. I thought she ran well last time, making up ground late. I would like to think she's a little closer today. The Lasix goes on. Listen, this is it's a solid group. There's nobody here to be scared of. Whoever you think is the horse to beat. And I think if she moves forward just a little bit, she's a big player in here. Jill's a hot mess down inside. I'll need to work out a trip, but John Velasquez he's great. I think the top of his Hall of Fame plaque should say great at getting that two-path position and getting outside and pressing and getting that advantageous trip. Number 9 outside Social World, probably the horse to beat, but I don't want a short number in here. 2195, another break here on the Handicappers Report. When we come back, late pick 3 time. Don't forget, too, the Paula Play of the Day coming up in a little bit as well. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the West. I'm Scott Varley at Saratoga's latest and greatest high-rise luxury condo. Starting in the mid-5s, every condo here has 2 bedrooms and 2 baths and upgrades just like this. Check out these oversized private balconies. We also have a gym, a private lounge, and get this, a heated parking garage. To make a reservation for your private condo at the West, call or text me. I'm Scott Varley at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad. Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report again on this Wednesday morning, halfway through. It's still stuck.
All right.
Got it.
Oh, my goodness. We got it now.
Man, that was the earpiece was stuck on my arm.
Closing week, right? Get off
also, when you're a big guy, right? It's trying to go like this is impossible in a jacket. So we got it. We're good. We're all set. Up to race number 8. We'll continue this pick 6 after that funny situation. It's a 1X allowance race. It's going to go 1 mile and 1/8 on the dirt. Probably starting to narrow it down here because you have some serious players that take a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'll talk about Vindictive first. I've got him in second, but he comes out of that huge win, 97 buyer. He's all out to win, but he runs at 97 from a 66 on debut, 1 turn to 2. And this is a weird race because you got to vet this race out a little bit. Cody's Wish, I believe, was 2 to 5, 1 to 2, something like that. And he breaks dead last, then he gets sent.
Rushes up to the weirdest race.
He's bottomed out at the quarter pole, and so, you know, golf clap to Vindictive for gutting this out, and he looks like he's a real horse. And if he runs back to a 97, okay, he's going to win by 4. I get all that. But he had some, you know, circumstances that put him in the right spot that day. Blinkers did go on too, so you got to take note of that. But it was just a weird race. And now we're facing winners. And this is a terrible post at this trip. And there's some real speed to his inside as well. I mean, Runnin' Ray, for Joe Sharp, who's having a meet, is in great form. So, yeah, it's one thing to gut it out against maidens. Well, these aren't maidens today. So, business model, I thought was in a bad spot. Was that opening day? It was opening day. Dak
Dak Daniels.
Dak Daniels. What a terrible name.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
flipping the letters.
I'm sorry.
And Clayton the Lionheart.
Yeah, I wonder if they named that horse at like 3 a.m. or something like that.
Could have been.
I know Anthony hit with this horse. Well, Business Model had 0 chance that day. Okay, he's facing winners. Brendan Wallace, he's 0 for 16. I get it. His horses are running though. It's a different 0 for 16 than when you're 0 for 16 at 1/3. 2 turns trial last time. You get back out to it. He's going to get a much better pace today. Godolphin Homebred, which I think he's got talent. I'm not giving up on him yet. He'll be a good price today. The flow suits him a little bit too. I'm going to take a shot with him. Vindictive, listen, I might be the fool here because anybody on a budget, single and Vindictive, they move on. I'm not 100% sold on him. I want a better price alternative, and I want an equal A, and that's Business Model. Now, what's Running Ray going to do? He's got to go, right, from the inside?
Absolutely.
That's
100%.
problematic for him, isn't it?
That's why I had Vindictive on top,
Right.
because advantage Vindictive in this spot.
100%.
You're splitting hairs at that point, but I think that race is good. Obviously, I still think Cody's Wish, and you probably do too, was probably the best horse in that race. Weird trip. Watch for him next time out. But not only is Vindictive, who won by a head, to Pipeline, who I thought is a very good horse, he's 5 lengths ahead of Cody's Wish, who's then another 7 ahead of the rest of the field. So you kind of add the math together. They're 12 clear of anybody else. I thought it was a good effort. Irad's going to be back aboard, and then I started to look into the pedigree, and this is a half-brother, Stop Charging Maria, who won the Alabama, won the British Cup Distaff. So distance is sort of the name of the game in the family, and we'll see if this horse is able to get the job done. This is where I'll try to focus in as far as singling goes, because like we already talked about, advantage to Vindictive, trying outside of Running Ray and being able to apply
Huge
that pressure.
advantage, yes.
I do, and I am scared of Business Model, who is your top choice.
No, you got him in there.
Yeah, I have him right in the mix. He's a horse that I'll end up using in a backup situation. He's a 3-year-old taking on olders in this situation. And if he puts in his best effort, if for some reason Running Ray gets gutsy and Vindictive, or they're just throwing down at the top of the stretch, I think Business Model is going to be the horse to sort of pick it up. So those 3 look to be the main contenders in this spot. I'll be surprised if anybody else ends up coming out of this race. I had 6-5, 3-1.
I mean, if there's a horse I'm going to fade today that I'm okay if he beats me, it's Running Ray. I just think, as we basically just talked about, stay tuned too. 10:40 now, Racing Across America. Mike and I are going to double back around.
Last point
He's in
to
a bad
this,
spot.
last point to this. Do you think people are going to take a look, because people are going to remember Winterpool won last week in that controversial situation? They're going to say, oh, well, if you beat Winterpool was very impressive, albeit that whole DQ situation. He takes a lot of money in here, I think.
he 2-1 on the morning line. It might be a little light, but yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to take a ton of money. Joe Sharp's having a great meet. Look at these 2 numbers, 91, 96. Rising class here today, too. So, yeah, I'm against Running Ray. He's not an A for me. The 9th now. This is a good one. With anticipation, 2-year-olds. It's a grade 3 now. Mila 16th on the inner. They're going to do their best to keep this on. Hopefully, you talk, Mike. I'm going to check the weather. I haven't done it in a little while.
Well, and also I'm going to have the bankroll today. We've been having the Bonaventure, the $500 bankroll sponsored by our good friends at Bonaventure Stable. So I'll have that.
By the way, 2 horses in tomorrow, very live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clatta's Run and another one, too.
Yeah, Clatta's Run didn't get enough pace to run into last time out. I do remember that race, but he was in tremendous form down at Tampa.
Firster with Leah Giamatti tomorrow. They paid $70 for it.
Oh, nice. So, absolutely, yeah. So we'll definitely be rooting for them. But also, I'll be here throughout the afternoon, so I'll be able to update you on weather, if it's coming down hard, if it's just sprinkling, sort of, hopefully we're able to get through this card. Even if we do get a couple showers and maybe the main part of the weather comes later at night. But
70% at 4 o'clock now. I didn't mean to interrupt. Okay, 70%. So, again, follow Mike here.
Yep, 1, 4, 3, and 2. I thought of the 2 performances. I thought the 1 had was a little bit more impressive. Was coming. There was no speed that day. He was able to sort of circle and get the job done very impressively. It's an either or. It looks like the Chad Klarovich Irad situation. He did win on debut. He was a little bit more poorly placed probably than they thought he was going to be, but he was able to do it. He was a little rank early. For me, I'll just go 1-4 in here and hope that I'm able to survive at this point with those 2 horses, and they're definitely going to improve off those efforts. The 3, if you're looking to try to sort of beat the favorites in who are going to be short prices, I thought was interesting. A horse that didn't break, saved some ground, was able to pick up the pieces and get second in that spot. Maybe can improve for Todd Pletcher or Luis Saez. Again, you really don't want to leave those guys out right now, especially with the meets that they've had. So, if you want to cover yourself, try to go 3 deep in this spot. And then the 2, a very interesting race. You have some horses coming from some different angles. Sprinting on the dirt, stretching out on the turf with a bunch of horses in here. And also going to be interested to see how the place pays out. But I had 1, 4, 3, and 2.
So Mike's onto it here. He's got the right to. I will mention this. Todd's won this race, I believe, 5 times. He's done it twice with maidens. So don't overlook the 3 just because he hasn't won. But Mike's right. I mean, these are the 2 in here, the 1, 4. And I'll tell you what, if you have a strong opinion here, you get a big leg up on the rest of the field because
you chop
speaking
off
for
half
myself,
the cost.
I'm Dutching this race. I go 1, 4, 4, 1. And I would say 85% of the tickets are going to have those 2 horses. And if you can just say, hey, I like the 1 here, and you use the 4 as a B, you get a big leg up on the rest of the field. I like everything Mike said is exactly how I see it. Limited liability can save all the ground down inside. Now, the flow might suit Portfolio Company a little better. I'll just tell you what, when I see a Shug Firster win like that, Shug's not a guy that wins first out. To me, there's a world of talent here. I'll just play it 1, 4. I will use them both, though. Gooch go bra in third.
Take a look at the finale. Hopefully everybody's alive at this point in the pick 6. It's a maiden special weight for state-bred fillies. Going to go 1 mile and 16th on the turf. And again, as we get farther into the day, the weather seems to be the biggest unknown. So, again, we'll see how it plays out. But on paper, and this race being run on turf, looks to be a huge wide-open race.
Just in case, okay, and we hope it's not the case, but 10-4-1 are my MTOs in here, just in case. This is craziness for me. This is chaos. This is craziness. This is a type of race that makes tickets. Mike hinted at it, and I'm going to deliver here. 4, 8, 1, 10, 12. I thought Kilolian Rose for Rob Atras, who's having a meet, that's for sure. Now, he debuts for 40. She does. 25-1. Doesn't take a cent of money. It's not really Rob's game either, okay? But she runs an okay 6. Close. Not beating too much. 6 lengths. And now Rob says, you know what? Maybe she's all right. Let's put her in a spot where she can't be claimed. Let's put Lasix on. There's nothing in here, right? Who are we supposed to be scared of in here, Mike? No one at all. Hey, we're going to get a number here. Ricardo Santana, who's having a meet, gets aboard. He's 7 for 14, riding for the barn at the meet. He won the Grade 1 coaching club with Maracuja. Could do worse than that at a big number, so let's try her on top. I don't think it's a bad thing to be a firster in here either, Mike. So let's go Tingling Mint in second for Christoph. Where's the 1? I was going to say down inside. It's not. Akushla for a brew. Third start. Size is here. You talk about the 10, who I've firmly got in my mix as well.
Yeah, a lot of Victoria. And I had the 4 in the 4th spot, so you're not going to see it on here, but I clearly had, and you want to use, especially if you're alive in that pick 6, you're going to be alive to a huge number, being 15-1 on the morning line. So La Victoria, the first 2 sprinting weren't great, but last time out started to figure it out, going the 1 mile and 8 distance, so you know is going to be able to, is out of top it. Laverdot on the bottom side. So Joe Rosario is going to stay. I thought it was an improved effort. And again, you're kind of getting lost in a bunch of bad efforts of horses that haven't been able to run. So the 10 to me, with some upside in the 4th career start, was a horse that I landed on. Tapple Cider for Barkley Tag, Javier Castellano, Saratoga stable. Finished 4th last time. Another one that's been sort of improving a little bit the farther this horse goes. Getting onto the turf for the first time, a little bit of an unknown. But again, there are some horses that have been sprinting or stretching out. I like some horses in here that have already been able to go the distance. You know, the turf's going to be the question mark at that point, but we'll see how it plays out. Going to be a decent price at 6-1. And then the 8 in the 3rd spot, a first-time starter for Christophe Clement. Watch the board. Tyler Gaffleon's going to be awarded. No, eye-popping workouts at all, but just sort of steady out of Lemon Drop Kid who strikes pretty well in this spot. So, again, if you're not thrilled with horses that have run, take a look at the first-time starter and Tingling Mint, and then your top choice, the 4 in the 4th spot. I 10-8-4.
And it's a good segue to another break here, because when we come back, Steve Bick with the DePaula play of the day, and I believe, Bri, is he going where we didn't go in this this race?
5.
Yeah.
5. Fistful of dice.
So we'll let Mr. Bick talk about that, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. Don't forget, Mike's sticking around. 10:40. We're going to really dope out this pick 6 on Racing Across America. DePaula play of the day with Steve Bick coming up.
Welcome to Albany County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from our vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip downtown to a hive of culture and amusement, from world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping to nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two High Chaparals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a three-horse photo finish to the top. Here's the winner. Photo finish.
The Capital Region has some of the most sophisticated horse racing fans in the country. That's why Capital OTB built the Clubhouse Racebook. Here you can wager year-round on the best horse racing from around the world. The Clubhouse also has monthly promotions including live bankrolls, handicapping contests, and so much more. Like sports? Watch your favorite teams on more than 30 screens in Legends Field Sports Grill. Food, sports, and the excitement of championship horse racing. Only at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience to be fair and easy. Family owned since 1980, DePaula means quality and convenience, along with concerned and certified technicians. So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs. At DePaula, we think of our customers as family, so we want your experience to be fair and easy. Over $2 million in original factory parts means you receive the very best for any make or model. So come join the family and thank DePaula for all your automotive needs.
It's post time for today's DePaula Play of the Day.
All right, welcome back to the Handicappers Report. We're going to work on Steve. We got another little bit to play with. Racing Across America's coming up. We'll get him on. What we do know, though, is Steve's 10-5 here, fistful of dice in the finale.
Taking a big shot.
Taking a big shot, and I know my guy Joe Christopher, one of my best friends, has been really impressed with the job Bentley Combs has done. He talked a lot about him this winter at Fairgrounds. I believe they had a brilliant horse with him. Brilliant as in the partnership. I don't know how brilliant the horse was. And he was just very impressed with the job he's done. And I will say this, Fistful of Dice has never been in the New York bred ranks. Bentley Combs hasn't run a lot of horses this meet. Maiden special weights at Belterra. And I get it, it's Belterra. Obviously, they're open special weights. 55 buyer, a closing third. This horse is hardly impossible at what will be a big number, too.
Absolutely. We talked about this. There are some races that have not been encouraging from some horses you're going to see in here. But you can't say that about the 5. The 5 is a horse that, buyers-wise, completely fits in this race and has actually put in some improved efforts and has actually passed horses, where some horses have just been, at some distant, run off ninths. This is a horse that's been passing some horses. So the more pace, the better for the 5. We'll see how it sets up. You're going to get a live jock in Manny Franco, and we'll see how it plays out. Steve's done a terrific job with these long shot plays, and they've come in time and time again. So we'll definitely be rooting for the 5.
Yeah, don't leave that one out. Hopefully that race is on the green stuff. That's to be determined. Weather is a potential issue later on today. Big pick 6 carryover as well. So that wraps it up on the Handicappers Report. We're not going to let Mike get too far because he's going to come back around 10:40, and we're going to talk about this pick 6 in a little more in depth. We'll spin it back here in a few minutes. Racing Across America, Sean Clancy, Saratoga Special will be up. Dave Grenning with the form in the middle section around 10:20. Stay tuned for Racing Across America.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.